the Kansas City Chiefs. Spags, you got a dominant defense. I know.
Oh, buddy, welcome back. Okay. Oh, Sammy 2400 getting it. What rank is he? Oh, he's just playing normals. Okay, Jason is unfortunately not going to be with us tonight. Hopefully he'll be back tomorrow night. Not sure why. Maybe just tired from work or something. But he said he wasn't going to be able to make it, so sorry, getting a little bit of a late stream. I was waiting around on Jason until about 12:30 or so, and then he said he wasn't going to be able to make it, so I was like, well, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and get a quick workout in, and then I'll just do a little bit of a later stream. So it'll just be one game, and we'll see if now that the weekend is upon us, if I can get a few games in, maybe tomorrow, 2 or 3 games in tomorrow and Saturday. I think my wife's parents might be coming in. I can't remember if that might be Christmas, halfway through next week. We'll see. But everybody's got the flu so far, so hopefully they aren't coming in now. My wife and 2 daughters both had the flu. We got it diagnosed today. Fortunately, I don't have it yet, or I have an extremely mild version of it compared to what they have. So hopefully drinking all that green tea and eating all that spinach and all that healthy stuff is paying off. Yes, so I do have rubber weights. Now, I would say if I was doing it again, I would probably just stick with whatever the standard weights are, iron weights, because these rubber weights, like, they are good. They do make a little bit less noise, but they chip a little bit. So, like, little pieces of them will break off, and I don't think iron weights would do that. It's at least as easily. My initial thought for the rubber weights was I was going to try to get, like, a landing pad for doing deadlifts or something like that. And the rubber weights are supposed to damage the floor, like, not damage the floor as much, or the landing pad. But I ended up getting drop pads instead, which I hadn't used before, but they're like 6-inch thick, maybe not that thick, but like pretty thick pads that you can drop weights on without damaging anything. I guess let's ban Jinx. Now, the weird part about that is on the deadlift specifically, it does make it a little bit easier on you, right? Because you're starting off with a free 6 inches. Or however big the pad is, but yeah, pretty much. So I have that. I just have just a set of 45s and 35s, 25s, 15s, 10s, 5s. And then I just pretty much do all barbell exercises. I'm not quite strong enough to go much heavier than that. Everything all totaled up, all the weights that I have are like 320 pounds. So I have deadlifted that one time. I usually don't attempt maxes, but I probably could go a little bit above that on deadlift, maybe, but not for like a working set. That would just be a max. So typically I'll just do like 3 sets of 5 at like 265 or something for deadlifts. Sometimes a little bit more. I need to be doing squats more with it. I just don't do enough volume on my legs, I don't think. Like, I do legs every other day, but it's pretty much just deadlifts and running. But yeah, so I just pretty much do big compounds most of the time. So I'll do on leg/back day, I'll do deadlifts, pull-ups, upright row, shrugs, and then sometimes like some ab stuff. And then on chest and arms day, I'll just do like bicep curls, dips, incline bench, shoulder press, and then some kind of shoulder, like maybe lateral raises or something. So it's a pretty cheap gym overall, like a bench, the drop pads, all the weights and everything. I think it was like a little under $1,000. So obviously not like cheap, but you know, by standards of getting a gym together, it's not that bad. And I bought it during, actually no, it wasn't during COVID, But there was like a lot of inflation and shortages of things. I think it was 2023 actually. Maybe 2022 around Christmas. Yeah. Yeah, I figured that out. Jason kind of gave me that tip, and I watched some other videos on it too, of doing incline being more beneficial. A lot of people think it's more beneficial than flat bench, even though you can do less weight on it, just because the way that I think like you can't use your triceps as much on it or something, and it gets like your whole chest better. Because I was doing decline bench because I thought that might like get you to use your chest more, but that's the opposite. Chest has always been one of my weaker areas. I just physiologically just don't have very large, like I just don't have a huge frame, so my chest has never been superb, but it's okay. Like I'm not trying to enter a bodybuilding contest or anything. I'm just trying to be healthy. So but it's been fun to work on a little bit, and my nutrition's better. I think I'm in better shape than I was last time when I was really, at least in terms of lifting, probably not cardio. But when I was like 24, it was the last time that I really like consistently went to the gym and worked out a ton. And then I've been like on and off, a little bit over the years, but now that it's like at the house, there's really no excuse not to do it consistently. It's like I just go downstairs. Just go to the basement. Oh my god. Of course, it's always double ranged. It's so annoying to lane against this stuff, but I usually do pretty well against it. Lux is kind of the exception, but there's just not a great regen item anymore after the nerf to Warmogs. Would Warmogs, I don't know, would that even be horrible here? Because that would allow me to eat like a fizz fish probably, or soak an ash arrow. It's like just something with a rejuve bead is so nice early on. They have a lot of magic damage too. Like I kind of talk trash about health regen and it just not being a great stat, and it's not outside of lane, but against these kinds of lanes, which is like every lane, just about like I can't remember the last time I played against a Leona or like a Nautilus. Like it's always double ranged. Maybe it's just like at this elo, people just love playing that kind of stuff, just AP champs, or just like carry champs as support. Yeah, anyway, so I think I'm in better shape. My diet is certainly way better. My diet was pretty... It was okay back then. It's a lot better now. I'm like a... Freaking almost have one of the healthiest diets you could draw up, just about. Like, every meal is... I'm really trying to cut out a lot of the processed foods and just... Anything that's a superfood, just about, I try to eat it. So I think that's made some of the biggest difference, is just consistently not eating like garbage. Because when I was younger, I was trying to gain weight because I was small. I was like 155. I'm like 5'10", 155. I'm still not massive, obviously now. I'm like 172. But I would just like eat everything, and I had such a high metabolism, so I just felt like I would just get the cheapest stuff because I was like really poor. I'm still not rich, but I was like really poor back then, and so I would just get like a jar of peanut butter and just eat jars of peanut butter, basically. Jars of peanut butter, and I still did skim milk, but the peanut butter is just like so dense in calories. Got a flash, got a flash. Fuck, I got a flash too. Damn it. Ash is such a terror in the early game too. Yeah, I think maybe I'll just try going back to Warmogs. If Redemption just had the healing component on it, They got rid of it. But yeah, now I still eat a lot of calories, but it's a lot healthier. And I actually eat things that don't have a ton of calories, but are just healthy, like vegetables and fruit. So I'm trying to eat a much better, well-balanced diet. And I think that's, hopefully, knock on wood, like I think I said at the beginning of the stream, why I've been able to dodge this flu that everyone else in the household has. Is because my nutrition's like off the charts. At least that's what I hope. I say that, and then I'll probably get symptoms tomorrow. We'll see. Okay, she's at least got fleet. Okay. So she's healing up a little bit. Okay, good. That was all for his mana. Okay, I think they're gonna push. Where'd he go? Okay, they got him. Yeah, I think they're gonna back on cannon. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and sell that and just get a refillable. Let me get a controller too. Ran away. Alright. Couldn't he have killed Yasuo? Oh, no, never mind. Yasuo's full health.
I'm getting impatient.
Yeah. I don't think y'all can fight that. Dude, Gragas had to back, bro. He has no TP. He's at like 1 HP. Like, what do you want him to do?
I feel like my allies aren't recognizing how amazing my cloak is. I mean, serious. Rude. I need some fun. Now. I'm gonna live forever.
I think they have that. Don't they have that worded?
Don't take a lot of words to tell the truth. This looks like another dangerous situation.
Give me a jump! Motherfucker, like... God, it's so obnoxious. If he just literally just took one step back, I could have double shielded him and saved him. Oh, that's frustrating. Alright, we're gonna do We're gonna do old trusty here. What do I think about Ozempic? What's up, Adam L? I think if you don't have, if there's not a way for you to reasonably get to a healthy weight, then like it's a good option for people that are like morbidly obese. And I'm not a doctor, I don't know the exact parameters for that, but I think especially if you've got diabetes or you're pre-diabetic, because exercise or like losing weight can be really hard at a certain point, you know, like if you're really, really overweight, especially if you've already got diabetes. As far as people just taking it to lose 10 pounds for a wedding, I don't think that's probably a good idea. It's kind of like recreational weight loss. I don't know what you would call that. It's probably better just to, you know, eat a healthier diet and exercise. But if people want to do it, I don't know. I guess if they're paying customers, I just don't think we know what all the side effects are yet either. It's like, if you've got diabetes, you already know you're in a bad situation, you know? So then, like, the trade-offs probably make sense, right? But if you're not suffering any major adverse health effects from just being a little bit overweight, and there are, you know, significant side effects for something like Ozempic, then, you know, you probably shouldn't do it. But I just don't know. I mean, they're pretty new drugs. But just because it's cleared for weight loss for someone with diabetes, or just because most doctors think it's probably a good idea, that doesn't mean that it's like a good idea for weight loss for everybody. Yeah, I mean, if it's safe and people want to pay for it, I think that getting to a healthy weight obviously should not be, I don't think, recommended for people that are under a 30 BMI. Right, so if you're not even in the obese category, I don't think that should be a thing. I think the question would be, like, if you're considered obese but you're not diabetic. Yeah, I don't know. I would venture to guess it's probably a lot healthier just to lose weight, you know, organically by just better, you know, better diet, exercise, things like that. So that's like best case scenario. But again, if it's somebody that just has some serious health problems and that's just not a great option, or I guess even if they're just not motivated to make it a great option to work out and things like that. Echo is so obnoxious when he's really far ahead. What the hell is that Fizz build? Tank Fizz? So yeah, that's my uneducated take on it. Guess we'll just run it this way, because I do want the cooldown reduction and the movement speed. It's just eating healthier in general is going to have a lot more benefits than just the weight. Like, the weight is nice, but you get all these micronutrients and you get these phytochemicals. Because that's what people are discovering more and more. It's like a lot of this plant stuff, these phytochemicals, these stuff that like don't show up on nutrition labels are really important for fighting things like cancer, especially cancer, but a lot of other stuff too, in ways that, you know, these pharmaceutical solutions like Ozempic just aren't going to do. And the food companies are just praying for this, like Ozempic, right? Like they're some of the biggest winners. Because then it's like, oh sweet, they're not going to pay attention to the garbage we're putting out with all these processed foods. We're just going to try to fix it with weight loss. And everyone's just going to keep dying of colon cancer. But I think the food supply, like the quality of food, and that's just like the real serious problem. Because you can't, like, it's so hard to force people, like, to legislate people eating healthy, you know? Like, is that even a good idea to try to do that? And the food itself, you know, for a lot of people, it's going to be hyper palatable. Like, for most people, you get used to it. Like, it's tasting good and stuff like that. And I'm kind of... Yeah, it is. It is. But if you can lose it without the drug, I think it's a lot better. I think you're probably going to be a lot healthier. If you're obese and you're not diabetic, it depends. It just kind of depends on where you are and what's going on. So it's probably better to take it and get to a non-obese weight than to just stay obese, right? But the even better solution is to exercise and eat healthier. So it's not going to do anything to help you with your cardiovascular in the way that exercise would. It's not going to have those plant, you know, chemicals and things like that, those anti-cancer things that vegetables would give you, or fruits. So yeah, it's like, it's a less bad situation, but it's probably not good, I would guess. But it is less bad. And sometimes that's just the best you can do, you know? But... oh, he got his flash, too. And I think it is probably better than like bariatric surgery and stuff like that more invasive surgeries and like other stuff that's been around. So overall, I think it is good, but good tool to address that different behavior. What do you mean, like unhealthy behavior? Like just unhealthy relationship with food, like eating when they're sad or something like that? Yeah, it is hard to find. It can be hard to get good food. I did see something, Dr. Mike, because I do watch some videos on these things. Obviously, I'm not a scholar, but, you know, like, I do watch some stuff on nutrition, and Dr. Mike was trying to make the argument that, you know, some people can only afford McDonald's or whatever. And I calculated up how much is, like, a fairly premium healthy meal. Like, you've got fruits and vegetables, even organic. And it's about the same price as McDonald's right now, because McDonald's has gone up so much in price. Like, yeah, maybe back in the day when there was like an actual dollar menu, but I like looked up the most popular items at McDonald's. If you got like a reasonable thing, you know, could you just eat like healthier things? You can definitely do it if you're doing like pasta or something, right? 'Cause pasta's like real cheap. Where's... I don't have my ult. But even just like fruits, vegetables, like you could even do like lean meats. I think it's definitely affordable. Now, does it taste as good? I don't know. I mean, a thing for me now, since I've stopped eating a lot of the processed foods, I can't even really eat it anymore. Because I feel horrible. Like, all the sodium and salt and stuff. I don't know if I was just used to feeling bad before, or if it was like... It's such a weird fight. I don't know if dude has ult. I feel like we're about to get like Ash Arrow too. But yes, I think, you know, obviously it's really hard for a lot of people to do it one way or another, and, you know, is it motivation, is it the food or whatever, like, you know, I think there's a lot going into it. So yes, I think it will ultimately be better for a lot of people, but, you know, the main thing is I hope it doesn't, I'm worried that people will lose sight of the other problems with processed foods, right? The cancer stuff, you know, all these other bad things, not getting enough of these, like, nutrients. If they just think, oh, I can just eat McDonald's all day, every day, because I'm on Ozempic, right? Like, that's one of the issues. And I wish they would just put more pressure, especially on the food companies, to make higher quality food with less shortcuts and less garbage ingredients. I wish they would ban stuff like high fructose corn syrup, make them use an alternative. And I think these companies could still make pretty good money. Maybe not quite as much as they make now, but... you know, you're always going to be able to buy chocolate cakes at the store and stuff like that, though. But, I don't know. It's an uphill battle. But I wish there was something to try to make the, like, healthier foods more affordable and tasty.
When I get sad, I stop being sad and be awesome instead.
I don't know if I'm able to get him. But that's my worry, is that people will just, like, think they can eat whatever they want and, like, no consequences because of Ozempic. Exercise is already a tough sell, but I think the food thing is, like, way more important than exercise anyways in terms of, like, body weight. I mean, you gotta run it. I think it's like a mile. It's like 100 calories or something. Right? And it's like a slice of pizza is probably 200. Depending on the kind of pizza. Maybe more than that. So it's like really helping people out with cleaner, healthier foods and diet and stuff like that is more important than exercise. Although I think exercise is really good. The main benefit of exercise, I think, is more the... benefits for your heart and like hormone regulation and things like that. And the weight loss is like a nice little bonus. Unless you're obviously doing like a ton. Like swimming for 3 hours a day or something. It's like, yeah, okay. That's gonna burn some calories. But your standard recommended, you know, 15 minutes a day of light jog or whatever is only gonna be, you know, a couple hundred calories tops, probably. Don't have all that garbage in Europe. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, like, if we were a little bit more like Europe, and I'm sure they've got tasty food. I mean, I've never been to Europe. I'd like to go someday, but I'm sure a lot of their food's still really good, right? It's not like they're all eating cardboard. But there's something going on in America, right? I mean, a lot of, and it, you know, even on a genetic level, right? Like a lot of American, like, ancestry is European. Not all, obviously, but a lot of it is. And so there's not really, like, it's got to be the food, right? I mean, it could be, yes, Americans do drive cars a little bit more, and they don't have as good a public transit outside of major city centers and things. They don't have all the trains and stuff that Europe has, but I think a lot of it just comes down to food and culture. Just eat worse food, and people just eat more of it. Maybe the education, maybe there's just, you know, people just glorify the terrible food around here. I don't know. It's something, though. And it's something that I think we could potentially fix. While still having good food, right? While still having tasty food. So yeah, that's my concern, is that hopefully we just don't lose sight of that goal and try to improve on that. I think portion size is another big thing. I think in America, like, I know were studies on, like, sodas and things where people just, in America, you're just given these, like, massive ass portions for sodas. And a lot of people, they just eat it because it's there, right? You get this, like, huge ass, like, big gulp 64-ounce soda or something. It's like, for a movie, you're just gonna drink it because it's just there, and you're just kind of passively drinking it. So I just feel like the portion sizes are also crazy. So yeah, but I mean, people just love eating their high calorie. I mean, I'm sure there's high calorie stuff in Europe too. So I feel like a lot of it's just cultural, like portion sizes and just not wanting to eat too much. Like there's no way. Like France, those cheeses, those decadent cheeses, and Italy, you know, with all the pasta and olive oil and everything, like, you know, you got high calorie food available. It's just people aren't eating as much of it, or you know, there's something else going on where there's a lot less obesity. I don't know about the UK. I think, isn't UK similar to the US in terms of, probably not as bad in terms of weight issues, but we need to be pressuring Baron. Oh god. And we don't have Yasuo here either. Yeah, I just gotta run. Well, I'm about to heal up. Yeah, Warmogs is looking good here. Like half Americans always comment saying. Okay, are you from UK? I'm not sure where you're from. Yeah, I think it's the portion size. They're just freaking huge. It's like, yeah, but you don't need it. I kind of have, I tell this to my wife, it's not necessarily with food, but like sales and things. You know, we'll be at the grocery store and it'll be like, buy 5, get 1 free. She'll be like, we gotta buy 4 more so we get 1 for free. I'm like, no, we don't. We don't need all that. Yeah, there's a sale. That doesn't mean you have to. I mean, it's a little different because a lot of it is non-perishable, right? So it's like, you know, stuff we can just put in our freezer or that'll last a while. But I think it's a similar type of thing where it's like people just feel priced into it. Because, you know, you get a super... I mean, I don't eat fast food, but like back in the day, it was like you supersize something at McDonald's and almost everything's like this. You're like, well, I only pay 10% more and I get 30% more food, so... Really, I'm losing money by not getting the supersize, right? It's like, yes, you know, from a value perspective, but no, from a health perspective. Like, you don't need the supersize. You don't need a 64-ounce soda. Like, I don't know. And now, like, you know, they hear me talking about all this stuff, and now they're showing, like, Donato's. This pizza stuff on the side. They're like, oh, we heard you like a lot of food. So yeah, I think that definitely is a thing, but yeah. So I wish the food companies, like, they put some limits. I don't know how they could. The problem is I don't know how you legislate it. It's just a cultural thing. Like, that would be wildly unpopular with anybody. Like, no politician that's running for re-election could ever try to pass something that's like, you know, taking away the supersize off of menus or whatever. All they do is they just put the calories up on a menu. They're like, hey, this, you know, Chipotle burrito has 2,000 calories in it or something. And then they're like, okay, see, we're informing people. They're making informed choices. I'm like, nobody reads or cares or understands. But I don't know. It's tough. And then there's always the argument in America. It's like, well, let people do their own thing, right? Everybody wants to be independent and, like, you know, if someone's not bothering you, leave them alone. Well, it's like, the problem is all of these unhealthy people, though, off of eating all this stuff, does affect everybody because it makes the health insurance go up. Like, everybody has to pay for that. I mean, obviously people are dying and having really poor quality of life with diabetes and stuff, and that's bad. Yes, it's bad for them, but people try to act like, oh, it's them, it's their problem, like it doesn't matter. And it's like, it does. Systemically, it matters a lot. Even just from like a cold-hearted financial standpoint. That's part of why, and I mean, I don't know why we don't have better healthcare either. That's a completely different thing. But I think a huge part of it is that we're just so unhealthy, like, that it would be, like, extremely expensive compared to, you know, as people like to compare it to, you know, Sweden or Finland or these places. I'm like, they're way healthier than we are. Now, I still think that we should have more of a socialized healthcare one way or another. I think we should figure out a way to make it work. But, you know, that is definitely a thing where it's like, systemically, people are really unhealthy. And especially where I live, I don't know how familiar you are with, like, the U.S. geography and cultures in different places, but I live in the South, kind of like in the Southeast area in Tennessee. And, like, the South is notoriously well known for really unhealthy eating, among many other things. But, you know, lots of, you know, fried stuff, and it just, people really bask in their unhealthy home cooking, Southern cooking type of stuff. New, less healthy food regulations. I see. Oh, so you're in UK? Yeah. I don't know the UK geography super well, but I think the US South is kind of analogous to, like, maybe UK North, sort of, where it's, like, a little bit more rural, and I don't really know. I'm kind of talking out of my ass. I have no clue. But that's kind of, like, how the South is. It's like the South is, like, less industrialized, a little more rural. There are some big cities, but in general, you know, it's just going to be a population of people that just eat unhealthier things and just do unhealthier things in general. I think there's probably more smoking, more drinking. I don't know if that's true though, than like the big cities, New York and California, or like New York City and Los Angeles. But anyways, I don't know. But it was cool hanging out with you. Thanks for chatting with me, AL. Adam, and thanks Todd as well for coming out to this impromptu kind of late stream here. But it's cool talking with you guys. Yeah, I've heard UK is kind of rough. I've heard a lot of places in Europe are kind of rough economically for a variety of reasons. I had no clue that the UK was that rough. I watched like a little documentary on it. That's where, and again, I've never been there. I want to go to the UK, but that's what I did my studies at my PhD in was 19th century British literature. So like Dickens, George Eliot, you know, those are kind of my main people. And then of course like the Bronte sisters, Jane Eyre, or Jane Austen, all of that. So it'd be fun to like actually visit, you know, these places that I've read about in the novels and see what it's really like in some of these places. So I know, like, I'm familiar with UK's literature and, you know, history and things like that to some extent, but I've just never actually physically been there. So it's on my to-do list eventually. But, anyways, okay. Well, that's it for me. I got to get out of here. I got to get up, take the kids in the morning. But thanks for hanging out. Mountain Dew and NASCAR. That's right. That's all about the South right there. Mountain Dew, NASCAR, and I don't even know, fried chicken, all about it. But anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. I should be back tomorrow, hopefully a little bit earlier, and hopefully Jason will come and hang out with us too, maybe around like midnight or something, but 11:30 or midnight. Anyways, that's it. Have a good day, and we'll see everybody next time.